Episode 1, Three Hearts, One Destiny. In the grand capital of the Jade Dynasty, where golden dragons guard the skis and prosperity blooms in every corner, there was a girl named Mei Li, daughter of the imperial minister, born into wealth and honor. She was a bright sunbeam, jolly, playful, and fearless, with a smile that could melt the coldest winter. Every morning, she rushed out of her manor gates to the lush academy gardens, where two boys always awaited her. One was Shen Xao, young prince, heir to the throne, a boy destined for crowns, armies, and heavy responsibility. Yet around Mei Li, he was just a child who laughed and chased butterflies. His days were spent studying strategy, royal etiquette, and martial arts, preparing to be the future emperor. But his heart, it only prepared for her. The other was Xin Bao, son of a humble scholar. Soft-spoken, brilliant. His hands preferred scrolls over swords, dreaming to rise as a high official. A man who could change the fate of the world with ink and wisdom. Both boys admired Mei Li. Both adored her laughter. Both wished to stand by her side, forever. The three were inseparable, studying together, learning calligraphy, racing across palace fields, painting dreams in the clouds. But elders often watch them with quiet fear. Three hearts are united now, but when power rises, destiny will divide them. Because the world they were growing into was not gentle. It was a world of politics and ambition. A world where love becomes a weakness, where friendship turns to rivalry, where laughter is often paid with blood. Mei Li's future would not remain this pure. For beneath silk robes and palace smiles, war was brewing. Enemies were rising beyond the borders. And within the court walls, jealousy sharpened like hidden daggers. The children's innocent days were counting down. Their shared destiny would bring love, heartbreak, betrayal, and death. But for now, Mei Li laughs under the cherry blossoms, hand in hand with Shen Xao and Xin Bao, unaware of the storm that fate has written. To be continued. Episode 2, Crown of Responsibility. Years pass like petals drifting on the river. The cheerful days of pure childhood slowly fading. The day finally arrived. The young Prince Shen Xao was officially declared the new emperor of the Jade Dynasty. Though still a child, fate placed the entire kingdom's weight upon his small shoulders. Armors bowed, ministers knelt. The dragon throne awaited him. But with that crown came sacrifice. Shen Xao spent countless hours with royal tutors, learning the art of ruling, war strategies, diplomacy, and the strict discipline of an emperor. He laughed only when Mei Li and Xin Bao visited him. But those moments grew rare. The emperor-to-be had little time to be a boy. He always missed talking with each other, horse riding, snowball fight, chess, and many more beautiful memories. Meanwhile, Mei Li and Xin Bao still found joy in the gardens, reading stories together, practicing calligraphy under ancient willow trees. Xin Bao grew closer to Mei Li, his heart blooming quietly like spring flowers. He admired her courage, her laughter still as bright as when they were children. But whenever Mei Li saw Shen Xao cross the training grounds, sweat on his forehead, determination in his eyes. Mei Li likes both his friends because both are precious to her. The Shen Xao and Xin Bao both have skills to lead to kingdom, one with swords and other with wisdom. From childhood to adults, both spend time together when Mei Li away from them. As a friends, they used to do many things, playing, drawing, horse riding, eating, and various quotes, but both have one love, Mei Li. They unaware that both have feelings for one girl, but destiny is cruel. Late one evening, Shen Xao stood in practice ground, sword in hand, shoulders trembling. To protect them, I must become stronger. One day, I will not let anyone take Mei Li away from me. His destiny was growing sharper every day. A blade forged by duty. Yet for the first time, their paths were no longer walking side by side. Three hearts once united, now slowly drifting apart. But fate is never silent. Soon, choices will turn into jealousy, friendship into rivalry, love into pain. This was only the beginning. To be continued. Episode 3, The First Crack in Their Hearts. Seasons changed. The three children were now entering early youth. Still learning, still growing, but not together anymore. Shen Xao, the young emperor. His life was a battlefield of expectations. Every mistake echoed through the court halls. Every emotion was seen as weakness. And one thing bothered the ministers. Why does His Majesty still spend time with a minister's daughter and a scholar's son? Whispers crept like venom through the palace walls. The girl is too close to him. The boy a distraction. The emperor must know his place. Slowly, visits were reduced. Rules tightened. Even smiles became monitored. But the biggest sting wasn't politics. It was jealousy. Whenever Shen Xao glimpsed Mei Li and Xin Bao laughing in the gardens, something heavy twisted inside him. He was the emperor, yet he felt left behind. Xin Bao. Books couldn't hide his feelings anymore. Every moment with Mei Li felt like a secret treasure. But fear lived in him. How can a common scholar compete with a future emperor? Still, when Shen Xao wasn't there, Mei Li always reached for his hand. And that gave him hope. Mei Li. She didn't understand crowns or hierarchy. She only missed her friend. Whenever Shen Xao appeared distant and cold, she wondered, where did the Shen Xao who used to smile go? Beyond the borders, a northern clan gathered armies. Spies reported danger growing like a storm. The ministers demanded Shen Xao prepare for war. But he was still young, and fear formed shadows in his eyes. One night, after a harsh training session, Shen Xao found Mei Li and Xin Bao beneath the lantern-lit courtyard. Laughing, clothes happy. He stepped forward. Why do you stay with him more than me? His voice cracked, not royal but wounded. Mei Li blinked. We only waited for you. But Xin Bao saw the truth and stepped protectively in front of Mei Li. A foolish, dangerous move. The young emperor's eyes darkened. Know your place, Xin Bao. You are nothing but a scholar's son. Silence. Cold and sharp. Mei Li grabbed Shen Zhao's sleeve, tears in her eyes. Please, don't say that. Shen Zhao's heart trembled. Anger, hurt, love, fear. All tangled at once. He turned away. But his fist was clenched so tight that blood dripped from his palm. That night, three hearts that once beat as one finally cracked. And soon, war would force them to choose sides. This was the moment. Destiny stopped being a game. Episode 4, War Drums and a Dangerous Decision. The palace air felt heavier than ever before. The northern enemy armies, fierce and merciless, were advancing closer to the Jade Dynasty borders. War was no longer a rumor. It was coming. Messages arrived in the throne room. Urgent, fearful. Ministers knelt before Shen Xao. Your Majesty, you must make a decision. His hands trembled. He was still young, but he could not show fear. Not anymore. The next morning, the booming of war drums shook the capital. Lanterns dimmed under stormy clouds. Shen Xao stood upon the golden balcony, voice echoing through the grand courtyard below. The Jade Dynasty shall defend its people. All forces prepare for battle. The kingdom erupted in anxious cries. Mothers prayed. Soldiers sharpened their blades. War would soon tear families apart and threaten the ones he loved most. Amid the chaos, Shen Xao made a choice driven by love and jealousy, and fear that he may lose Mei Li forever. He summoned Minister Li, Mei Li's father. For her safety, Mei Li must stay within the palace walls. She shall not spend time beyond royal supervision. A hidden command. She must stay away from Xin Bao. Minister Li nodded, a dangerous obedience. When Mei Li discovered the truth, her heart shattered. Why can't I decide who I am with? She cried. Shen Xao's voice cracked. Because the world is changing, and I refuse to lose you. But she pulled her hand away. A moment sharper than any sword. Xin Bao saw her tears. Something inside him burned. He clenched his fists. If the Emperor takes everything from me, then I will rise high enough that he cannot. The first spark of rivalry had turned into a burning flame. Destiny tightens its grip. Love is now a battlefield. War is approaching, and trust is falling apart. The three fates that once danced together are now tangled in the darkest way. This is no longer the story of children. This is the birth of future enemies. Episode 5, The Disappearing Flower. War raged at the northern borders. Smoke rose like ghosts over burned villages. The Jade Dynasty was bleeding. Shen Xao's decisions were tested by fire. Soldiers fallen, families shattered. He feared only one thing more than losing the kingdom. Losing Mei Li. Xin Bao, burning with ambition after Shen Xao's harsh command, decided to prove his worth. He joined the war strategists, his brilliant mind quickly impressing generals. Scrolls covered in ink, plans sharp as steel. For the first time, he walked a path separate from Mei Li. But fate was cruel. Unable to bear the distance, Mei Li decided to visit Xin Bao and his family, hoping to bring comfort and hear news of the war. She traveled with a small group, thinking it was safe, because the guards wore palace uniforms. But when she reached Xin Bao's family home, he wasn't there. Only anxious silence and locked doors. Before she could turn back, the guards grabbed her. Mei Li struggled, screaming, "I am Minister Li's daughter. The Emperor will." A hand covered her mouth. "Exactly why you're so valuable." They tied her, dragged her into a covered cart. Her cries swallowed by night. In reality, those weren't palace guards. They were traitors. Looters disguised to blend with royal ranks. Their plan: sell Mei Li in the slave market far from the capital, where no one would recognize a noble girl once adorned in silk. Her jade bracelet, the symbol of her status, was ripped from her wrist and tossed into the mud. Mei Li, who once danced in palaces, was now shackled and silenced. When news reached the palace that Mei Li never returned, Shen Xao's heart stopped. He slammed his fists against the throne. Find her, search every corner of the empire. But war held most soldiers hostage at the borders. The capital was vulnerable, and enemies hid within. For the first time, the emperor felt powerless. Far away, a messenger reached the war camp only days later. Xin Bao stared in horror. Mei Li missing. And I wasn't there. Guilt became his enemy. Hatred became his strength. If the emperor cannot protect her, then I will. With burning determination, he left the war camp. Even against orders, his heart had chosen its battlefield. In a slave market, Mei Li was now just one among many captive girls, lined up to be sold like livestock. Tears ran down her face as she whispered, "Shen Xao, Xin Bao, will I ever see you again?" The girl once blessed by the palace walls now faced a future drenched in terror. And the worst part, the traitors were connected to someone inside the palace. The real war had just begun. A war not for the kingdom, but for one girl's life. Episode 6, The Girl with No Name. Night drowned the slave market in shadows. Chains rattled, guards slept with wine on their breath. Mei Li's heart raced. She had only one chance. A broken window. A cliffside. A rushing river below. Her wrists were bleeding, but her spirit refused to die. She whispered, "I will not be a prisoner." She jumped. The freezing river swallowed her whole, waves crashing like angry beasts. Her past vanished in the water. Downstream, an old herbalist gathered night herbs by lantern light. Suddenly, a girl's lifeless body floated toward him. He rushed into the river, dragging her to the shore. Her skin was ice cold, lips losing color. He knocked her back to life. He carried her to his mountain hut, hidden deep in the forests. When Mei Li opened her eyes again, the herbalist watched gently. "Child, what is your name?" Silence. Fear. Emptiness. She stared back, confused, tears forming. I don't know. Who am I?" The girl who once laughed under palace cherry blossoms was gone. She was now reborn. A new life with no memories of love, power, or pain. Back in the capital, Shen Xao could no longer bear waiting. He armed himself with a royal sword. "If I cannot protect her here, I will protect the kingdom myself." Against every advisor's plea, the young emperor rode with his army to the northern war front. He left the palace behind, and a conspiracy growing in its shadows. Xin Bao searched every village, showing Mei Li's hair ribbon to strangers. "No, I haven't seen her. Try the next town." He refused to sleep. His voice broke with guilt. "Mei Li, where are you? Don't leave me again." His determination turned him into a man, his heart fueled by love and obsession. In the throne room, chaos erupted. A captured looter confessed under torture. "We were ordered by Minister Guo." Gasps filled the court. Minister Guo, a respected elder who stood beside the throne for years, was the mastermind behind Mei Li's kidnapping. His motive: remove the girl the emperor loves and gain control over the throne. But the traitor smirked with blood on his teeth. "You think this ends with me? The real enemy is already beside the crown." Before nomming the higher mastermind, a poisoned dart struck his neck. He died instantly. The snake within the palace remained hidden. Destiny shifts. 3 hearts once bound together now walk entirely different paths. Mei Li alive, but memory erased. Xin Bao searching through hell. Shen Xao marching into war. And the enemy is not only outside the empire, but inside their own walls. A storm of betrayal, love, and war is about to consume them all. Their fates have only grown darker.